$1.5 billion. That was the cost NASA had to pay for each Space Shuttle launch, a massive price tag to maintain this legendary space program. But now, if Elon Musk's Starship succeeds, that cost could drop dramatically to just $2 to $3 million per flight. An unimaginable difference. What's even more remarkable is that Starship doesn't just match the shuttle in terms of transport capabilities, it surpasses it in both design and technology. But is everything really going according to plan? The most recent flight, Flight 9, once again ended in flames, underscoring the unresolved technical challenges that still remain. Today on Space Now, we're diving deep into what actually happened, from unusual signs observed during the mission to the official updates released by SpaceX and Elon Musk himself. And more importantly, we'll break down what it all means for the future of the program. Despite the failure, Flight 9 did achieve several breakthroughs. For the first time, SpaceX overcame persistent technical issues that had doomed the previous two test flights. However, the final scenario still spiraled out of control. The rocket suddenly lost stability and was forced to trigger an emergency landing before completing its planned trajectory. Did something unusual happen that we haven't fully understood yet? If you followed SpaceX's live stream closely, you might have noticed some strange details, especially in the very first seconds after Starship lifted off. Once again, Starship exploded mid-air, but this time the problem didn't come from the engines. You won't want to miss this exclusive analysis from Space Now. Amid the excitement of liftoff, some viewers missed the very first warning sign, a strange green plume of exhaust flaring from the outer edge of the Super Heavy booster. A green flash, seemingly minor, but it carried a critical message. In rocket engine engineering, green smoke is often a telltale sign of abnormal combustion. It can be caused by copper found in engine chambers or nozzles burning and oxidizing at extremely high temperatures. This could result from various factors: an incorrect fuel-to-oxidizer ratio, a damaged injector, or material degradation. And with a system like Super Heavy using 33 Raptor engines, even a single failure can trigger a domino effect. Some experts believe the issue may have stemmed from the tilt maneuver, the critical phase, when the rocket shifts from vertical to horizontal flight, just moments after clearing the launch pad. If the maneuver is not executed correctly, the outer engines could strike the launch mount, causing minor damage, but enough to trigger an in-flight explosion. Although SpaceX has not confirmed this, it's clearly a possibility that cannot be ruled out in the investigation of Booster 14's explosion. The second issue, seemingly less serious, actually affected a critical test SpaceX had planned for this flight. Super Heavy, with its 33 engines, only uses a small subset of them during landing to increase precision. The original plan was to simulate an engine-out scenario by manually shutting down one of the 3 central engines, which are essential for gimbal steering during descent. However, footage from that phase shows that an engine from the outer ring in the group of 10 secondary engines was the one that got shut down. This raises 2 possibilities: either SpaceX changed the plan at the last minute or shut down the wrong engine. Either way, it was clearly a technical issue, and it prevented the test from being carried out as intended. It didn't stop there. During Ship 25's orbital ascent, at the T+5 minute mark, an unusual phenomenon appeared, what looked like a leak. Some argued it was normal, but when compared to Flight 6, there was nothing similar at all. It's evident that some type of fluid identity still unknown escaped into space. This could signal a leak of nitrogen liquid oxygen or coolant from auxiliary systems. At T+8 minutes, a small hot spot appeared just above the left vacuum engine. When that engine shut down, another bright spot formed on the outer skirt. SpaceX sequentially shut down the vacuum engines, followed by the sea-level engines. And as soon as that process was complete, The glowing area began to appear, possibly indicating localized overheating or a sudden pressure spike around the skirt section. That moment marked the emotional high point, yet also the start of a cascade of problems. Immediately afterward, the vehicle began to fall. Not a simple free fall, but a high-speed spin, completely losing its control axis. The attitude control system was entirely overwhelmed by the imbalance. And you have to ask yourself, with some of the most advanced aerospace technology in the world, how did Starship still lose control? According to official sources, the direct cause of Starship's loss of control during its most recent flight was a fuel leak that occurred right after the main engines shut down. As the propellant leaked unevenly, the thrust became imbalanced, causing the vehicle to start spinning. What's notable is that the attitude control system, which uses pressurized gas to steer, also serves to keep the tanks pressurized and prevent fuel backflow. Once that system develops a leak, the pressurized gas depletes, and the entire control mechanism becomes ineffective. This very issue led to yet another early termination of a Starship test flight. But it didn't stop there. SpaceX also encountered a problem opening the payload bay to deploy Starlink. If you look closely, you can see tiny particles inside the spacecraft behaving unusually, not just vibrating but rotating in space. This is the Coriolis effect, clear evidence that the spacecraft was spinning along its axis, and the particles were likely ice fragments breaking apart due to torsional forces. It's possible that these fragments interfered with the payload bay door mechanism. What's more concerning is that this isn't the first time the payload bay has malfunctioned. It's not out of the question that SpaceX had to redraw the entire blueprint to fix this vulnerability. It's not out of the question that SpaceX had to redraw the entire blueprint to fix this vulnerability. But the root cause still hasn't been determined. Was it residual air trapped inside that forced the door shut, or did the mechanical system freeze? As of now, we still don't have a definitive answer. It's important to understand that Starship's payload bay system is just as complex as the one used on the Space Shuttle, which relied on vent holes to equalize pressure during ascent, sealed shut during re-entry, and reopened later in the lower atmosphere. Balancing pressure between these compartments is an incredibly difficult engineering challenge in aerospace design. So if you think a door is a simple problem, remember even SpaceX, with the world's most powerful Raptor engines, is still struggling to get it right. Despite the flight ending short of expectations, SpaceX still achieved several significant milestones. Most notably, they broke the streak of consecutive failures from the January and March test flights. A clear highlight from Flight 9 was that for the first time SpaceX reused a Super Heavy booster from a previous mission, specifically from Flight 7 back in January. After a successful landing, the booster was brought back to the launch pad and refurbished for another flight, marking a critical milestone in the journey toward full system reusability. However, the highly ambitious goal, 25 Starship launches in 2025, now seems increasingly difficult to achieve. Even so, Elon Musk posted a hopeful update on Tuesday night on X. He announced that the next 3 launches could take place at intervals of 3 to 4 weeks, a crazy pace by industry standards. After that, SpaceX is expected to move on to the next generation Starship Block 3, a version with major design upgrades. It's still unclear how long it will take to fully resolve the issues that occurred during Flight 9. However, the vehicle for the next launch has already been completed and passed its cryogenic proof test back on April 27th. Historically, SpaceX typically launches these vehicles within 6 weeks to 3 months after completing cryogenic testing. That means if everything goes smoothly, Flight 10 could lift off soon. The Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) said it is working closely with SpaceX following Tuesday's test, but has not yet announced whether a formal accident investigation will be launched. On SpaceX's side, Starship program technical director Shauna Dugan also shared an update on X. Based on preliminary flight data, she expressed optimism that the next test flight could happen soon. However, engineers are still carefully reviewing the data to ensure that the issues from Flight 8 did not reappear in Flight 9. She also noted that all current evidence points to a completely new type of failure, something never seen before. Shauna Diaz, the technical director of the Starship program, said SpaceX will investigate the cause of the Super Heavy booster explosion during landing before attempting a catch test where the booster is caught mid-air during a future flight at Starbase. Feeling both relieved and slightly disappointed, she wrote, "Could have gone better today, but also could have gone much worse." While the results fell short of expectations, it's clear that with every flight, Starship is moving closer to full reusability, something no other rocket system in the world has achieved. Let's wrap up the story of SpaceX and shift our focus to another major development, Rocket Lab. The company, often dubbed a mini SpaceX, has just made a bold move. Starship exploded mid-air once again. Meanwhile, Rocket Lab is quietly flipping the script. Don't take your eyes off the latest update from Space Now. On May 27th, Rocket Lab announced the acquisition of GEO, one of America's top suppliers of electro-optical and infrared EO/IR sensors for military satellites. The price, massive $125 million in cash, $150 million in stock, and an additional $50 million in performance-based payouts. The total deal could reach up to $325 million. This isn't just a routine tech acquisition, it's a strategic move aimed at expanding Rocket Lab's influence in the national security space sector. Through this acquisition, they gain access to field-proven sensor technologies already deployed in missile warning systems and space surveillance programs for the Pentagon. Rocket Lab CEO Peter Beck affirmed, "This is critical technology, and it fits perfectly into the vertically integrated defense strategy we're building." Rocket Lab is no longer just a rocket launching company. It's evolving into a full-spectrum defense platform, designing rockets, operating them, and now delivering specialized payloads tailored for complex military missions. And it already has a solid foothold, a $515 million contract to deploy and operate 18 data relay satellites for the Space Development Agency SDA's transport layer. This serves as foundational infrastructure for the United States' entire satellite communications network. But it doesn't stop there. Rocket Lab is also preparing to contribute to the tracking layer, a missile tracking network composed of more than 50 low Earth orbit surveillance satellites. This initiative is a crucial stepping stone for the Golden Dome Missile Defense Shield, a space-based early warning system initiated by executive order from the U.S. President. With an estimated budget of $175 million over the next 3 years, the program demands rapid deployment, commercial innovation, and cost efficiency, all areas where Rocket Lab is proving itself highly capable. The GEO acquisition was executed in partnership with ATL Partners, the investment firm that originally acquired GEO back in 2021. In 2023, GEO was merged into Lightage Solutions, another ATL portfolio company. Once Rocket Lab completes the acquisition, ATL will restructure its remaining businesses under a new brand, Trident Solutions, which will include Trident Systems and OIR Corporation. All 115 employees from GEO will join Rocket Lab's growing ecosystem, an organization currently experiencing rapid workforce expansion. Their total headcount is expected to surpass 2,600 employees spread across key technology hubs, including California, Virginia, Colorado, Maryland, New Mexico, Toronto, New Zealand, and now Arizona. This marks a pivotal step in Rocket Lab's mission to bring all technical capabilities in-house, forming a fully integrated bottom-up aerospace model. Beyond GEO Rocket Lab is also in negotiations to acquire Minarek, a company specializing in laser-based optical communications. If successful, Rocket Lab will complete its vision of a vertically integrated space defense architecture from launch platforms to payloads and from rockets to real-time data transmission. CFO Adam Spice stated, "Bringing GEO's payload capabilities into Rocket Lab puts us in a very strong position to capture future defense opportunities, including the Golden Dome system." Starting to see a familiar pattern with SpaceX. There's no doubt anymore, Rocket Lab is quietly building a space technology empire with a bold ambition to become a full-spectrum defense contractor, not just launching rockets, but also commanding, supplying, and operating the future of America's space infrastructure. The race for space technology is heating up like never before, from Elon Musk's Starship to Rocket Lab's bold acquisition strategy. Who do you think will lead the 21st century space power game? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation with Space Now. And don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a moment in the world of space innovation, where every launch has the power to reshape the global landscape.